687 days since the last time Asheville saw Asheville City Soccer Club play live. That changes tonight. Welcome to the Look Homeward pre-match show. I'm Matt Stradley here with Bronwyn 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘃. Today's matchup, Asheville City Soccer Club taking on the Southern Soccer Kings Academy. Should be a fantastic matchup today.
Oh yeah, we are so excited to see this team back out here and on Greenwood Field, no less.
Great point. Greenwood Field with Memorial under some construction for this season. Greenwood Field on the campus of UNC Asheville, a campus that you're very familiar with, the netminder for the Bulldogs.
Yes, I have played my entire collegiate career on this field, and I'm just so excited to see soccer back out here again.
It is wonderful, and we thank you for joining us on the Look Homeward pregame show. Tim 𝙂𝘖𝘃, who is going to be the pregame show host, couldn't be here today. We missed him, but we can still get him here. So, Tim, we'd love to hear what you have to say about us being back.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Blues, welcome back. You know, there's an old sports cliche that every season is a renewal. It's another chance. But when you've missed an entire year, when you skipped the previous spring, stayed out of the sun in the summer, left the leaves on the trees in the fall, and all of those sights and sounds are going to be a little bit louder and a little bit brighter when you come back around. And we're back together at home. Even if home's going to be a little different this year, different grass, different bricks, but if home's a community, if it's a family, we're back together. Someone asked me not too long ago what exactly belong, believe, be blue meant, and it kind of took me aback. I don't know that up to that point I had actually ever said it out loud, what I thought it meant, and how it was an inch perfect description for this club and community. Blue being the color of Asheville, it's the name of our ridges, the backdrop of our land of sky. It's in the riverbeds. We brew it, we hike it, we raft it. The Cherokee call it 𝙂𝘼𝘼𝙃𝘀𝘃, the land of blue smoke. When you work and play, raise your family, live life in Asheville, you can't help but be blue. Belief, it's a tricky one with heavy connotations. But to me, and what do I know? Belief implies causation, that your actions will lead to a result, a win, an improvement, capability, support, love. Together, I believe we can. Together, I believe we will. There's a famous quote from Dennis Bergkamp. When you start supporting a football club, you don't support it because of trophies or a player or history. You support it because you found yourself somewhere there, found a place you belong. I've always believed, there's that word again, that Asheville is a place where things are found. So many people move here and become locals because where they left lacked something. This community gives them a chance to be whole. So when we say there's no y'all without you, it's because we aren't whole until you're with us. And we as a community have members who acknowledge and recognize our privilege and understand that that's not universal, that some of our neighbors exist in spaces that don't support them because of their gender, sexual orientation, race, neurodivergence. And in the bigger picture, this is all about humans. The people, the laws, and the monuments and the history affect and make feel unwelcome. But not here, not with us. We're the city of Asheville. We're the Blues. We believe you belong. Appreciate the chance to briefly chat with you. Have a great show, Matt and Bronwyn. Thanks to Brian in the truck. Good luck to the players and staff tonight. We're back, Blues. Back together.
Back on the Look Homeward pregame show. Thanks, Tim. We appreciate everything that you said, and I think right on the point with all of his thoughts. I'm Matt Stradley here with Bronwyn 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘃, and our special guest analyst for the day. You look familiar. Where have I seen you before?
You might have seen me out here.
I've never seen her before. Alice Walker, one of the great attacking threats for the Asheville Bulldogs, here to give us some analysis not only of the games past, but today's game, and we're lucky to have her here.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm really excited.
Have you ever seen Greenwood Field look quite like this before?
No, it's a little odd seeing somebody who's not us out there.
But I think with the way that the crowd is and the sort of the circus atmosphere, there's just an excitement in the air.
There is, and it's always exciting, especially after this year, to be at a live sports event with fans. And I think there's an extra layer of excitement there because of that, because it's been so long. How long has it been since the last home game?
Oh, it's been 687 days. It's seared into my head. We've talked about it for days and weeks and months leading up to tonight. Really building onto this excitement of having live sports back in Asheville and having live crowds back in Asheville.
Very, very exciting.
Ron, when you watched the first game for Asheville City on the road after 3 games of practice against a fantastic Tormentilla team, probably class of the league if I had to guess, just after seeing the first 2 matches, what were your thoughts, Ron, on that matchup?
Oh yeah, well, definitely a lot of potential coming from the Asheville side. I mean, that Tormenta side was very talented. They had some stunning, top-class goals. But yeah, a lot of positive coming from Asheville. A new team, 3 days of practice. It is really difficult to pull something out and really make your mark on that first game, but there's a lot of positive going forward. Trying to build out of a 3-back, going through 2 6s with some really talented wingers is going to be difficult, but they've already made progress, so I'm excited to see what they do tonight.
Alice, what do you take from that matchup?
I think it's really all about chemistry at this point. I think that it was very evident that the Tormenta side had much more chemistry, and that's obviously to be expected. It would be a little ridiculous to expect Asheville to have that kind of chemistry after 3 days of practice. Like you said, that's tough. And it was clear that they hadn't been training together very long, but I agree there's a lot of positive takeaways, and I think I'm really excited to see what they can do after getting some more training sessions under their belt, getting some time together as a team. I think it's going to be really great to watch them come out today after just spending more time together, getting to know each other on the field. Obviously with the summer team, it's tough because they don't know each other very well. They don't play with each other all year round. So really excited to see what they can do today.
The Southern Soccer Academy Kings, the visitors today, come in off of a win over the Charlotte Eagles, and a win that the balance of possession was held by the Eagles, and I would say that the goals against the run of play. So when you're playing against a side that doesn't mind not having the possession, what are the dangers?
That's tough. It's tough because it's so easy to fall into that trap of, well, we have the ball, we can just keep it, but it's so easy to stagnate like that. It's so easy to, when you get comfortable having possession, and then you forget about things like quick counterattacks. And then when you lose the possession, you're not necessarily in the headspace to defend because you haven't been doing much of it all game. So it's really easy to sit and knock the ball around, and then also almost get stuck without much of an attack.
Exactly, and at the end of the day, if you can capitalize on the chances that you do have, it doesn't really matter how much of the possession that you hold.
Yeah,
those don't count for goals at the end of the game.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Alice, you've gone everything from a back to a forward and in between in your career at Asheville. So you've seen, I think backs probably run the most of anyone on the field, maybe a 10, but mostly backs, I would say.
I'd say when I play at the wing, that's a 120s all day type of position. That is end line to end line, not even box to box. It's all the way. And I think that, especially with the formation we've been playing recently, it's a lot of work, and it's really tough to. It's very easy to get excited running going forward, especially with ball at your feet. I'm a player, I like having the ball at my feet, so when I'm going forward, it's easier to forget that you're sprinting.
Sure.
And then it's easy to get caught up in that and not make all those runs back. So I think, I'd say wingers and 10s run. 10s are just all over the place. That's a position I could not play.
And Brown, when you have 3 backs, like the 3-4-3 that Mick Giordano wants to run for the Asheville City, as a goalkeeper, does that make you feel good, or is that a lot of communication that you're going to have to figure out?
Well, it's always a lot of communication for a goalkeeper, but in the 3-back system, what's really important, especially for this team, the Asheville side who wants to play out of the back, it is really important to figure out your transition between defending and attacking. Because in the defense, with a 3-back, if you're under pressure, you either need to bring back a 6, a defensive holding mid, to help out in the middle of the park and turn it into a 4-back, or you need to bring back a winger and to tuck in on the sides. So you're gonna need the extra help, but then getting back out and trying to attack again is gonna be really important for this team. So transitionally, Asheville is gonna have a lot of work to do, but if they can get those midfielders into an attacking mindset, I think they're gonna have some success with it.
There you see the Asheville City Soccer Club merch tent, the Asheville Splash jersey. It's the 25-year anniversary of the women's team, the Asheville Splash. And that's a quality kit. I think I'm going to make my way over it at halftime. Speaking of halftime, Alice, we're going to have you back, and we're going to have your first half analysis. We're excited to have that. I know when we're talking about working with a 3-back and how to work through the midfield, that's not even the most difficult phase. So the most difficult phase is the creative phase. And I think we can all agree with that. For the fans at home, maybe newer to watching soccer, maybe they love the spirit of Asheville City, belong, believe, be blue. They believe that mantra, and they're looking for things to watch in the match tonight. What are some things that you would tell them, here's what to watch for in a match tonight that's going to make things successful? Maybe it's the spark of creativeness from 𝘼𝘼𝙃𝙃𝙃, something like that.
Yeah, I think that it's very easy, not very easy, but easier to organize a defense and to coach players to get behind the ball, to not let the other team score. It's pretty straightforward, but creativity is a piece that's just so tough to coach, and I think that's what I think is fun to watch for. And when you have a player like Isaiah, who's going to be so creative on the ball but also fast, you have someone who's really exciting to watch, and I think he brings that creative aspect, and that's something that I think some players, they have or they don't. It's something that it's really, really tough to coach, but it's so key. It's so key. If you don't have a creative spark in your attacking lineup, it's predictable, it's easy to defend, and you really, really need to rely on those creative players to mix things up and bring different tactics to the attacking part
definitely.
of the game.
Defending creative players is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
If you have a 9 that likes to just run around and keep you guessing, then you got to stay on your feet. But if they do fall into those kind of rhythms of, all right, well, this is what we're doing, this is how we're playing, then it can be a little predictable, and it's quite easier to defend.
Yeah, and I think talking about creativity, it's really easy to talk about creativity on the ball, but I think creativity off the ball is something that doesn't get as much attention, and I think it's just as important. I think players making dynamic runs in behind, even if they're not the one who ends up on the ball at the end of the play, it pulls defenders out of position. It makes it really, really tough for a defense to stay organized. So I think that creativity and mixing things up off the ball and moving defenders and opening up space for the player who is on the ball is something else to really look for.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's, one of my favorite parts of the game to watch is what people are doing off the ball to make things possible for the people who are going to get in and take the shots and get the crosses off.
Exactly. And that 3-back system is all about movement and rotation and getting people where they need to be from not where they started.
Yeah.
So it's really key in
And
this
that's
game.
that transitional piece you were talking about earlier. If you're going to pull back a center mid, if you're going to pull back a winger, then that changes things when you go into the attack, because you have to shift those players back, and maybe they end up somewhere they weren't 5 minutes ago, and you have to adapt. You have to learn to. You might end up on the other side of the field for a minute. You might end up in a position you're not necessarily comfortable with, but you have to figure out how to adjust and adapt and transition into the attack.
Interesting. We've gotten the official team sheet, a 3-5-2 formation today, and it's going to be Mario Arocha, who spent some time at USC Upstate, and Jack Stainrod, who's got speed to spare. So you've got one guy who's fantastic on the ball in Arocha, and Stainrod, again, great on the ball, but has just speed. He's going to be pushing the back shoulders of that defense for the Southern Soccer Academy Kings. Having that 1-2 punch, somebody who is so creative on the ball and somebody who's just willing to make that back shoulder run. How does that 1-2 punch work in the concept of soccer?
I think that's kind of the perfect storm. That's exactly what you want. I know we talked about this earlier, that you can't really say, is it better to have an attacking player who's technical or fast? I think it's if you can get one of each, or players who have both those traits at times. It's just so important to have someone who is willing to take risks on the ball and take people on. But then at a certain point, they're going to have to give the ball up. They're going to have to dish it off to somebody. And if you have somebody who has speed, running in behind, making defenders think twice, check their shoulder, move around, get uncomfortable, then there's more opportunities for the player on the ball and vice versa. I think that's kind of an ideal situation for an attacking, especially with a front two, because playing in a front two is... I like playing with the front two.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
And
it's lonely being out there by yourself.
yeah, and I mean, obviously there's advantages to hold up 9 play, but I think having a mix with a front two where they're balancing each other, they're shifting, there's one's playing up, one's dropping, they're crisscrossing.
Right.
It's very hard to defend. And I think having that combination of technicality and speed just makes that extra difficult to defend.
And Bronwyn, as a goalkeeper, it's going to be your responsibility to tell those center backs what's going on with that speedster on their back shoulder, to keep them in line so that there isn't a break in the line and all of a sudden somebody who may have been caught in an offside position is now played on.
Oh yes, that rotation and communication between center backs is really important, because as soon as someone steps, you're going to need someone to fill in behind. And when those two forwards are constantly rotating and moving off of each other, it's very difficult to organize. So communication is definitely key for both of these teams.
We're going to have Alice back at halftime. We'll get your first half analysis and get all our fans ready for the second half. Thanks for joining us again today, Alice Walker, a Bulldogs attacking specialist.
Of course, this was fantastic. I look forward to coming back. I'll take some notes.
We'll look forward to having you. We'll get you a pen ready. We're going to take a short break on the Look Homeward halftime show. On the other side, we're going to get the walkout. We're going to get the starting lineup. And we're going to get the keys to the game from Bronwyn 𝙂𝘼𝙈. All that and more as we prepare for kickoff. You're watching Fantastic Soccer USL League 2 on YouTube TV.
Introducing the new pediatric ER at Mission Hospital. Designed just for kids.
Hey soccer fans, it's time to belong, believe, and be blue. At Ingalls Markets, we are proud to be the official sponsor of your Asheville City Soccer Club. Our men's and women's teams are poised for another great season of exciting action on the pitch. You bring the energy, and we'll bring the food. Go big and go Blues. Ingalls, your official sponsor of Asheville City Soccer Club.
Wearing number 10, forward 𝘼𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙃. Midfielder number 13, 𝘂𝘼𝘼𝙈𝘀𝘼𝙾. Midfielder number 14, Nathan Watt. Midfielder number 17, Jake Jensen. Midfielder number 18, Joe LaCasto. Forward number 19, Jack Steinrod. Player number 25, defender Jamie Smith. And your goalkeeper, player number 30, Will Watson. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, remove your caps. For the presentation of the national anthem, tonight brought to you by Miss Jupiter May.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Soccer is back in Asheville, North Carolina, and what a fantastic sight it is to see. I'm Matt Stradley here with Bronwyn 𝙂𝘼𝙈. Thanks for joining us this USL League 2 matchup. The Southern Soccer Academy Kings taking on the homestanding Asheville City Soccer Club.
Yes, and it's really exciting to have Jamie Smith back in this back line with the 3-back. It is really important to have some really strong and confident center backs, and Jamie Smith has been a part of this team for 3 years, and so having that local legend status in that back line is going to really solidify Asheville's confidence building out of the back and also staying strong and organizing that transitional moment we've talked about.
And for the Soccer Academy Kings, Michael Chapelier, there you see him wearing number 10, the leading goal scorer. He's got 2 on this season. Number 10s always seem to be deadly. He is no exception to that rule.
Exactly.
Who's your favorite number 10 world soccer?
You can't ask me that. If you say who's my favorite 10, I'll say my own teammate, 𝙂𝘼𝘈. So
That's a fantastic answer. That's fine. Yeah, she's part of the world of soccer.
exactly.
Jillian, by the way, booked, I don't know if you knew this, booked for one of the guest analyst roles.
Oh,
She's going to be
yes.
coming in on the 5th of June, I believe.
Excited to have her here.
As we get ready to get underway, second DJ Awujo lining up out wide to the left. There's Chapelier. The Soccer Academy Kings in their road yellow-blue trim, blue shorts, nifty blue socks.
Exactly.
Are you a high sock or a medium sock?
You know, I like the high sock, but I can rarely get them over my very long legs.
Arocha's seen this field before. He plays for USC Upstate. That's where his college career starts. A fantastic year for Arocha, wearing number 10. 3 goals, 3 assists in just 11 starts.
That's very impressive, especially in this Big South Conference that they are in with UNCA. So, yeah, if he's been on this field, he should be comfortable.
Foul spotted on Arocha. It'll be a free kick for the Soccer Academy Kings. Ball bandied about the midfield. Asheville trying to settle on it. Langston Blackstock giving chase, trying to put on some pressure, giving the Asheville City offense a bit of trouble. On the break, sliding in, fantastic save.
That was very well read by that goalkeeper there. When you have a breakaway like that, it's really important to judge where to go, when to step, and that was really well read by him.
Judging distance is extremely important, and one of the reasons that you're not seeing Asheville's usual netminder between the pipes.
Yes. Jarrett Payne was given a red card last game. He was ejected from the game.
Will Watson taking his place. Will Watson, certainly not much of a downgrade. Fantastic player. He spent a year with the FC Dallas Academy. Just signed to go to Princeton, I believe.
Very impressive. Their program is really strong, so you can see that Asheville has a very strong goalkeeper union here.
Free kick for the Bulldogs. For the Blues. Sorry, we're at the dog park. This is Greenwood Field. Handled well by Southern Soccer Academy. 𝙂𝘼𝙈 is in net, and he judged it just right on that breakaway by Asheville.
Now that they know that he can come out big for crosses like that, they're going to have to adjust their service from their wingers, try and bend that back away from the goalkeeper.
Blackstock staying really advanced. The rest of the Soccer Academy Kings tucking in a bit, but it's Blackstock that's really trying to put pressure on the back of that defensive back line.
And here's what we'll see building out of the back from this 3-back.
What are the dangers of building out of the back as McCready passing it out wide?
Well, it depends on who you're facing. If you're trying to build out of the back against a very high-press team, you are going to need some options in the middle of the park and higher up the field so that you can skip those lines of play. But it doesn't look like this opposition is pressing too high right now, so they'll have some more time in the back line.
Breakthrough, important sliding tackle. That's 𝙂𝘼𝙈 able to knock it away. Asheville able to reset their defense, only just rotating it around. 𝙂𝘼𝙈 turns the corner, looking for the pass, tries to pick it out. And it was Jamie Smith did just enough. Arocha back to Smith. It'll find its way back to Watson. Watson, the big boot.
Yep, there's the skip.
When you say the skip, walk me through that.
Well, in soccer there's lines of play. So you've got, the defense, the midfield, the attacking line, the forwards. So when you're playing out of the back, sometimes you need to skip your defenders and play right to your midfielders. Sometimes you need to skip your midfielders and play right to your forwards. Depends on what the game gives you.
Slid away by McCurley. It'll be a King's throw. Both teams kind of trying to feel it out. Both willing to play quickly. Bulldogs want to build up play in addition. It looked like 𝙂𝘼𝙈 almost through. Bulldogs able to get a foot in at the vital moment. Now testing out the left side of this Kings defense. It's a foot race.
Looks like we've got some speed on that side.
Asheville nifty step over. The dark blue Ingles jersey. Good closeout, but the pass through the lines unsuccessful. Asheville able to pick it off, maintain pressure. Here's Smith. Bringing Jensen into play. Jensen looking to cross it in. Just a bit long. Scooped up by 𝙂𝘼𝙈. It was a good idea. The run was there, just a bit too much on it.
Yes, and he's got the curve now, but now you have to get the timing right.
Asking for an offside, not granted. A foot stuck in, and now Asheville looking to counterattack. It's through 𝘼𝘼𝘃. Asheville plays through the mid. Out one, it'll be too much to ask. It'll be a King's throw.
You can see they're trying to play through that pivot player in the midfield, trying to switch the point of attack. Not with a huge boot across the field, but using your central players to build across the field is going to be key for this team.
𝘼𝘼𝘃 loses it out. Good tight defense from Jake Jensen. Jensen to throw. He'll drop it off for Smith. Smith spent 2 years playing in Conference Carolinas, a really competitive, if not the most competitive, Division II conference in the country, and then took his talents to NC State for the latter parts of his career. Dropped in the opening goal, and it is scored by Asheville City Soccer Club. Just devastating through pass.
And we knew the wings were going to be dangerous for this team, and they finally got that cross off with a near post run. It looks like what they needed, that runner to cut in front and finish and capitalize on that
The
cross.
build-up play, absolutely fantastic. Located a weakness down the left side, one that they've been eyeing for the preceding 6 minutes. And in under 8 minutes, Asheville City gets their first goal of the campaign and takes the 1-0 lead. We'll take another look. What an incisive pass. And just dripped over.
And well done to use that back foot rather than the front, because that goalkeeper read it well and was covering that quite well.
As Jack 𝘼𝘼𝘃 bending the back of the net. William Carey out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi is where he's spending his college time. Spent some time with the Sheffield United youth program. In watching the first game, I had made some notes to myself. Fast, aggressive, and he's a backline pusher. And I think you saw all 3 of those on that first run.
Oh yeah, definitely a player to watch out for.
And how tough of a pass is that to catch that run? Because there wasn't a large window to fit that pass in.
No, when you're squeezed like that and you're making the near post run and there's no back post run, it's a little bit wishful thinking. But to connect that pass and really just trust that your player is going to step out in front and drag that ball across just far enough away from the goalkeeper, who clearly felt crowded enough to not come out. So connecting on that pass is really impressive.
It'll be a King's throw-in. That against 𝘼𝘼𝘃 had held possession for a while down low. 𝘼𝘼𝘃 trying to flip it to himself, just loses it out.
Blues lead 1-0.
An exciting start. And the Asheville City crowd excited, as they should be. Soccer is back in Asheville, and the goals are back for Asheville City. And the way Mick Giordano, Asheville City's coach, wants to play is that build-up play out of the back. And in its best-case scenario, that's what can happen. His back to the play, unsure of where the defender was. Discretion the better part of valor there.
Indeed.
McCready didn't have a lot to do with it. The fact that he got it out for a throw instead of a corner kick was really pretty good. Samuel Bivin over to take the throw for the Kings.
Oh yeah. Both of these teams are going to want to try really hard to deny set pieces. So stop corners from happening. Don't allow sloppy free kicks near the box.
And that's a tough corner to take a throw in. That's the South Slope Blues. A very large, very loud fan group, and one that's been loyal to Asheville City since its inception.
I'm sure they're so excited to be back out here, and it's a beautiful night for soccer, a beautiful night for a first home game, so I expect to hear them all night long.
And you hear the drums and the horns and the shouts and the cheers, and able to put it out. Was it for a throw? Is it going to be a corner? It looks like another throw right there in the corner.
And you
𝘖𝘼𝘼.
can see how hard they're working to deny that set piece.
You've played here for 3 years. Tell me about the wind at Greenwood Field.
The wind at Greenwood Field, it's definitely present. It is there. It's just something you have to deal with, but you train in the elements when you play an outdoor sport like soccer. So you learn how to judge it, you learn how to figure out where to set yourself up for corner kicks if you're a goalkeeper, depending on what foot a player is taking their kick with and where the wind is. So it's definitely something learned.
Good touch. A foul whistled right on the edge of the area as 𝘖𝘼𝘼𝘃 trundled over, and it is maybe a foot outside of the area. We'll take another look. A foot in, and it's McCready, who I think might be lucky getting away with just a foul.
It was definitely contact.
A couple of players standing over.
Now this is really dangerous. Asheville has conceded on a free kick already this year.
Omar Mustafic is the right footer, and it'll be driven low, just wide.
It's an excellent save. There's a lot of traffic in that area, so getting that reaction time and extending that way and getting a whole hand on the ball is really difficult to do when you can't see the ball fully.
And Will Watson dove out of instinct and deflected with very short lead time. His reactions, nothing short of spectacular. Back to the top of the area. Asheville trying to expand their defense. The cross, looking back post. The cross left wanting as Fitzpatrick ushers it over the inline. Goal kick for the Blues. I want to say Bulldogs. We're at the dog park, Greenwood Field.
We
this
sure are.
is the home of the Bulldogs and now the home of Asheville City Soccer Club.
Oh, great throwing.
And there's that short ball from a goal kick, so you can see that they're playing out of the back even on full possession.
Smith, the long crossfield pass, and boy, pinpoint accurate, and stolen brilliantly back by the Kings. Here they come the other way. Smith drops it into space.
It's a good look to try and chip it over the back line on a quick counter, especially in a 3-back when you have numbers up typically.
It'll be 𝘼𝘼𝘼 to take the throw. 𝘖𝘼𝘼𝑗, his option. It's flipped beyond, tipped out. Smith. Boy, 𝘼𝘼𝘼 getting his workout on the throw-ins. It's across to the top of the box. Asheville looking out wide to the left. Some space to run. Back through the midfield, 𝘖𝑼𝘼𝑗, one of the captains today. Out wide, here's Jensen. Jensen has some space. Low cross. Handled well by the Kings. Switchbladed away by Jensen. The shot from distance. Oh!
Now that ball had some knuckle on it. I was scared for a minute.
Joe Lacosto, a local soccer legend. He played at UNC Asheville, now an assistant coach at Mars Hill. Nearly finding the upper 90 top left. That would have been what the kids call a banger.
I would have definitely called it that.
𝘼𝘼𝘼𝘃 providing the pressure up top. Stainrod's goal, the difference. It'll get all the way back to Watson. Jensen the option out wide to the right. They'll go with Smith. Smith calm, cool under pressure. His presence on the back line absolutely necessary. A long ball played. 𝘼𝘼𝘼𝘃 gets there, trying to spin away, and just defensive excellence.
And that's the second time Smith has hit that long ball to a winger from building out of the back and skipped both lines in there. And the first time it was very dangerous, and the second 𝘼𝘼𝘃 caught up to it, but there was no help.
Spun. Blackstock has the ball, guarded by Smith. Blackstock trying to spin, drug his foot back and got the contact he was looking for. It didn't look like anything was happening in the middle, and he did the smart thing. He instigated the contact that he knew would come if he drug his back foot, and there it is.
It's definitely a tactical decision to go down right there, especially when you know that you can capitalize on set pieces against this Asheville side.
It's Michael Chaplier, the goal-scoring leader for the Kings, standing over the kick. Omar Mustafik offering a right-footed option. It'll be Mustafik. Swung wide. The header off the mark. And Bronwyn plays it well. Nifty footwork.
Thank you, thank you.
So Bronwyn, when a ball is floated back post and somebody's going up for a header, how much do they know about exactly where the goal is, or are they just trying to hit it where they think it is?
Well, typically when you are on the back post and you're trying to connect on a header, you're going to want to hit it back towards where it came from and to really connect fully. And so if you're a goalkeeper, I mean, you really just got to show up and get big and hope for the best on those.
Tipped out as Bivin tries to take it out. It'll be a throw. Boy, Jensen has covered a lot of ground along with Joe Lacosto today. About 20 minutes in. Now Soccer Academy Kings looking to hold a bit of possession. Asheville leaving Stainrod up top. Everybody else back in defense. Incisive pass to Bivin. Bivin looking to cross it. Touchdown well. Trying to find some space. Acosta rolls it coolly to the middle. Trying to clear their lines. But the Kings there. Asheville, instead of just instinctively booting it, trying to gather and play out.
I think that comes from the confidence of having someone like Jamie Smith back in the back line, able to play out of those tough situations, almost have yourself a rondo in your own 18. It's dangerous, but if you're confident playing out of the back, then it can be really effective setting you up for a counterattack.
Only just missing getting there on the far sideline. Nathan Watt gave it a good run. Watt, he's an academy coach with Asheville City Soccer Club since 2018. It's nice to have some on-the-field generals in Lacosto and Watt.
Oh yeah, they're really important personalities on this team, especially in the midfield, which is really important to the transitional elements of this game in particular.
So when it's defending, you know what you have to do. You have to get the ball. But once you get the ball, that's where the midfield magic really comes into play.
Exactly, especially when you are playing in this three-back system and the midfield is so involved in that defensive effort. Trying to get back up again is really difficult to coordinate and organize. So you need those midfielders to know what they're doing and know how to get us back up.
Arocha nifty on the ball. Passed into the center. Can he find enough space to get a shot off? He's got a little bit of room to pass. Closed down, and then, boy, Jamie Smith plays it pitch perfectly.
It was well defended.
Anytime you can get it to go off the player who's trying to pass it, that's just a big win.
Exactly. Make it look like it was on person.
Watt on the far side.
Lots of space in the midfield there.
Now over the top. Looking again for Stainrod. Stainrod on the ball. Excuse me, Arocha. Arocha finds some space. Wide the cross. That'll be out for an Asheville throw. How did that get out for a throw from that angle?
He was definitely trying to get a corner off that, which is what to do when you're stuck down the line with nowhere to go. Just bang it off, try to get a corner for your team.
Jake Jensen, who calls Newcastle upon Tyne his hometown, on the corner. Ball slid in.
An excellent quick pass there.
King is trying to counter, and it's a word from the official with Jamie Smith. That might have been the final warning. Kings looking to hit quickly on the counter. Through 𝙂𝘼𝙈. Out wide. A foul spotted and given as Asheville City gets the defensive positioning.
It's been a little dicey in terms of physicality around the Asheville 18, so we'll see if that becomes a problem.
Watt was able to get the position and draw the foul. It'll be Watson back for the free kick. Let me ask you this. If it's a free kick but the goalkeeper takes it, can we call it a goal kick? Is that just no?
You know, I like the credit for a free kick in case something really cool happens out of it, so I call it a free kick.
As the ball lost over touch, it'll be an Asheville throw. Temperatures reaching 82 here at Greenwood Field today has dipped down in the high 60s, or as I like to call it, the perfect temperature for soccer.
Definitely my ideal situation.
In the 60s, your hands don't sweat in the goalie gloves as much.
Exactly.
On the ball, 𝘼𝘼 drops it off. Across the back line, Mustafic. Asheville appealing to no avail. It's back for 𝘼𝘼.
Well done to switch the point of the attack there, forcing Asheville to transition and rotate in their backs.
𝙂𝘼𝘼𝙃 offering the attacking option short. Picked off. Arocha through the midfield. Watt out wide. Watt has some space. Trying to be marshaled by Claggett. Watt rolls it back as Asheville City resettles. Willing to soak up some possession and immediately lost out. Won back brilliantly. And it'll be Arocha on the ball. Arocha looking for his options. One step, two step cross. Trying to find Stainrod. Almost does.
It's a dangerous ball. He's in there alone, though, and he's going to need some backup if you want that ball to be as dangerous as it can be.
The Kings had him bracketed perfectly. In an ideal position, if there's one attacker forward, you can bracket him. You can have one on the front, one on the back.
Exactly.
And since it's Arocha, the other attacking option, putting that ball in, you're going to need somebody from the midfield. Maybe somebody like a Lacosto making that additional run so that the center backs can't afford to bracket him.
And we've seen that he can strike a ball pretty well, so if he's that drop back option for either a cross or on that back through kind of situation, then that could be really dangerous for Asheville.
A yellow card brandished. Given to Ross Fitzpatrick. I would say he trundled over the attempt to usher the ball out of bounds.
Yes.
Let's take a look. Yeah, it was a push in the back, yeah. It wasn't appreciated.
No, not totally necessary either. I've certainly given players a talking to for that.
As Claggett, I think, within his rights to say, look, dude. But I still want that intensity. If I'm Asheville City and you're like, Ross Fitzpatrick is going to come at you and he's going to be intense, I'm like, bet. If that's a yellow card occasionally, 1,000%
you know what?
accepting
Sounds
of
good.
that. Knotted down as the Kings trying to play out of the bit of pressure. Oh, and it's nifty, taken away by Jensen.
Now they're going to find a switch to the left side of the field, the proven dangerous side here.
Here's Watt looking to settle things. And they'll try a full field switch again. Jensen, oh, just a bit loose with his touch. It'll be out for an Asheville throw. It was a brutally hard ball to bring down.
Oh, yes.
The fact that he kept it within about 5 feet is amazing, but it was just enough to give the Kings a chance to get in. And the Kings getting a foot in, looking to clear out, only as far as Smith.
Now both teams will have a chance to reset here.
Watson will find Smith. Now on those deep corners, you want to get some of your center backs, especially with 3 across the back, you want to get them up so that they can stop that initial clear, correct?
Yes, but the Southern Soccer Academy doesn't have numbers going forward there, so it's not extremely dangerous to hold them there and wait and see and let us get back out and reset and build up again.
There'll be a foul spotted on the Kings. Whistled on Andreas Jackson. I believe it was Giordano who got a talking to. Jensen.
There's the touch.
Niftily taken away, and
It's a great step there.
on the run. 𝙂𝘼𝙈 loses it.
It was a great idea to cut back into the middle because so far Asheville has been really denying them that switch, and they've had to play around and go to the outside spaces on the wings, but they haven't been able to capitalize with the service. So trying to cut back in the middle and take that touch and really be dangerous and creative individually was a really good idea.
So you're saying taking an initiative and cutting back inside brings the sort of the interior play back into the game.
Yes, and for the Kings that's going to be really important this game because Asheville has it held down in the midfield, playing with 5 in there. So trying to open up gaps in there with individual creativity is going to be where they find their success, because they haven't found very much on the service from the wings.
Stainrod able to steal it up top. He's surrounded by the Kings and still coming at it. Now he's tackled in the area. No call, and I'm not sure how a reasonable viewer could say that that was the right call.
Hard to say on a double team there.
It'll be a Kings throw as play on the ball, absolutely, but 100% took out the player as well. So the question is does the play on the ball negate any contact that happens after? And getting the touch away, a vital touch it was, and sliding it just further. Asheville tackled off of the Kings. It'll be an Asheville goal kick. Boy, at the vital moment, Jake Jensen, who's been really, really far down the line on the right side of the pitch, comes back and makes a fantastic defensive play.
Yes, individual defensive strength is going to be really important. They can't really afford to fall asleep in a 3-back, so you're going to have to chase after those tough tackles and really put your foot through something.
Pushed through the midfield. Smith coming forward for Jensen. Here's Smith. Finding just a bit of space. It'll be touched back for Smith. Smith. Quick ball through. Asheville attacking on the left side. Watt. Step over. Cross. Begging for a back post run that wasn't there.
When you've got a winger taken down the side, ready to send in a service, you need some dynamic movement at the top of the box and near the 6 so that you can try and find someone and get a connection.
𝙂𝘼𝘈 is taking some time up top. He's going to be chasing between the center backs, trying to apply the pressure for the Kings. It'll be a throw-in for the Kings. Over to take it is Claggett. Between Claggett and Callum Watson, they've done a good job of, barring the individual run and play by Stainrod, they've done a good job of bending without breaking.
Yeah, that double team, I mean, we've seen it twice. Once it resulted in a foul, once it didn't. And they're really trying to, like you said, bracket those dangerous players and not allow any space. But we'll see if Asheville capitalizes on that double team and sends a deeper player to be dangerous.
And there's Bivin to throw it in, and he's getting some suggestions from the interested and, might I say, partisan crowd.
We expect nothing less.
Switch to Claggett.
Taken down well.
Mustafi.
And that's where the Kings really need to find their midfielders and use this inside space. It's hard to find holes within this Asheville defense and this Asheville midfield, but if you can take creativity and individual talent and bring it inside and find these players who are making dynamic runs at the top of the box, they're going to find some success.
Asheville playing through the lines to maybe a bit adventurous with that pass. It'll be a King's throw. All the way back. It'll be Watson. Leaves it for Smith. Jensen. Well, Lacosto did just enough. It looked like a tough ball, and he handled it well. Watt taking on Claggett. Passes inside to the top of the box. And a spectacular tackle by the Kings. Here they come the other way. And that slid, nope, not held in by the Kings. Kings still coming on the counter-attack. Left for Watson. Watson rolls it out wide. Bivin. Watson will try the right side. Here's Claggett. Claggett makes a move. Chipped into a run that wasn't made. Stainrod couldn't find it. And a tough tackle. It'll be out of bounds. A Kings throw.
The Kings are finding most of their possession on counter-attacking moments, but they're going to need to add some speed to that counterattack if they're going to ever be able to capitalize on it. By the time they get the ball into a dangerous position in the attacking third, Asheville's had time to recover.
Giordano was asking about what he thought was a foul on Fitzpatrick. And that off the hand, and it will be called. So the new handball rules, they say new handball rules, it's a fairly new interpretation of a rule that's been around for forever. Walk me through it.
You're going to have to be more specific about that.
Fair enough. So an attacker, he has his arm slightly away from his body, he plays it off his knee, it hits his arm. Is that a handball?
If he's on my team, no. If
fair
he's
enough.
on the other team, yes.
Okay, fair
100%.
enough. Watt tries to slide a pass in. It'll be deflected by Claggett, out for an Asheville corner, the first of the contest.
Now, Asheville had success on a near post ball, trying to drag it just towards the 6, but now that's being denied, so they have to look to the top of the box because they have players there.
Placed down, it'll be Jake Jensen. It'll be an in-swinger. With about 10 minutes left to go in the first half. Looking back post, a run was there, it was just deflected wide.
That's a very dangerous ball, and well done to get a hand on that with so much traffic in the box. Just getting anything on that is really important for a goalkeeper coming up and making an impact on that play.
Especially if you've already committed yourself to that attack, to where I'm coming off my line and I'm going to make this attack. If you miss that, the goal is wide open.
Exactly.
Jensen back for Rocha. Rocha, a searching cross. Trying to find Fitzpatrick, brings it down well, dropped off. Here's Watt. Watt continuing his run. Watt, the cross. May have been a bit of a shot. That was a tough angle to try that shot, but he really had no options of making a run in.
No, and I mean, you always feel like you have to do something with the ball when you get it from a back heel pass.
He was running out of space. He had to do something, and he had to do it quick.
Personalized client relationships is what they pride themselves in, and like Asheville City Soccer Club, the team
𝘂𝘼𝙈 with the distribution.
Asheville City did Derek Allen.
Nodded forward by Jensen.
Derek Allen, the best, most wonderful attorney in the land.
Ocasto bluffing. 𝙂𝘼𝙈 loses it out. But to a king. Here's Bivin out wide, passing it into the middle, slid away, only just. The battle for the ball. Asheville gets a foot on it as the Kings spin away, maintain possession. We're going to get a cross, some space. The searching cross looking back post for a run that just wasn't there. Bivin tracks it down. Bivin will try it again. Hammered out of trouble. It'll be a King's throw. Asheville looking to reorganize. A couple of nervy moments for the Blues.
Now they know that those players on the wings are very dangerous.
Here's Claggett. As the ball searching for a King's foot, lost, and Asheville clearing their lines. Bit of a loose touch from Andreas Jackson, but he made up for it. Able to track it down, knotted up. Rushed down by Lacosto. Jensen knocking it forward. Oh, nifty little move. 𝙼𝘼𝙃 maintaining possession. Is stolen away by Watson. A bit too much on the ball by 𝙼𝘼𝙃?
Maybe, but again, there was the double team, so I'll give it to him.
You're going to give it to any player who's trying to make something happen, and I appreciate that about you.
I appreciate players who are willing to take individual risks, especially when they're not in my way.
Right.
You can do it at half field, but maybe not in the 6.
As Watt nodding it forward, but not before it's out over touch. It'll be a King's throw on the far sideline. I'll check that. It'll be an Asheville City throw. I think that's to the confusion of the Kings. Here's Watt. Nodded forward by 𝙼𝘼𝙃. It'll be a King's throw. Ushered out, and I'll tell you, Langston Blackstock is a constant threat moving forward, and a fantastic job by the defenders for the Blues just to get their bodies in the way.
And that's what it's about when you're defending in a 3-back, is just getting yourself into tackles, knowing that your team is organized enough to cover you.
Looking to play through the lines, knocked back just a touch.
His back line has had a lot of time to play around the back, but desperately looking for some movement in the middle to find a pass that's going to penetrate this Asheville midfield. But they need some dynamic movement from their own midfield.
Mustafic is starting to move more advanced. Good run, lost it just the last second. Booted out of trouble for Asheville. It'll be 𝙼𝘼𝙃 trying to spin out of trouble. It'll be out for a King's throw. Down to the final 5 minutes of the first half, plus added time.
Gotta love added time.
I go back and forth. So the college game doesn't have it. You know exactly when everything ends.
Exactly.
But then there's no way to really make up for, oh man, I'm cramping up because we're up by 1, you know?
It's definitely a point of contention between coaches and referees.
So the added time, I like it in that respect. What I don't like is that it seems rather arbitrary. Like, I imagine somebody with an 8-sided dice, maybe a Dungeons and Dragons player, and that's fine. And they rolled it, and it's like, oh, I got a 7. That's 7 minutes of added time.
Yep.
I'm going to go clearly. It'll be an Asheville throw deep in the territory. McCurley the option. They'll launch forward. Knotted down. Lacosto drops forward. Nifty bit of interplay down the line. Watt just fires it forward. Off a King and out of bounds. It'll be an Asheville City throw. Arocha drops it off for Watt. Back from McCurley. Inviting Smith forward. Jensen. Smith for Watt. Knotted into the path. Just heavy on the touch.
It's a great idea to try and beat that player in one touch down the line, because he had players to just drag that back to at the top of the 6 and at the PK spot, so it was a great idea to try and make that move fast.
And if it comes off, there are 2 options with really just the goalkeeper to beat.
Exactly. Not somewhere I want to be if I'm the goalkeeper.
Blashon nods forward. Smith. Return to sender. Blashon's like, fine, I'll do it this way.
So we've seen that the Kings can play within their backs, but now we're getting a look at them playing through the midfield, which is what they've been missing.
Knotted up.
That last piece, that last pass is what they really need to find and connect with.
Oh, just eluding the foot of Blackstock, and here comes Asheville through Watt. Watt has a good amount of space.
He's taking this
𝘂𝘼𝘼𝙀𝘼.
with speed, trying to capitalize on that, use a counterattack in the last few minutes of this game.
And just getting a foot in. A whistle. And it'll be Asheville along with Claggett. So a combination Claggett and Watt. And Claggett being given the yellow. For the kick out. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, no need to be doing that.
I think Claggett had a point earlier when he said, hey, that guy pushed me and he can't do that. And I think the yellow card there was valid. And I think Watt had a point there. Yeah. Don't kick out at me. And I think the yellow card was valid. I think we've seen 2 valid yellow cards, and I think the rest of the fouls we can discuss, but nothing's been silly.
Now we're even.
That seems fair. I think everybody had their little moment of temper.
Exactly.
And in a contentious matchup, and it is. Both teams want to win. So there should be some emotion, some fire. As long as they don't spill over into anything silly, and the yellow cards are heated, as Claggett on the far sideline crossed. That'll be off a Asheville City side, and it'll be the first corner of the game for the Kings.
And that's a dangerous ball, trying to curve that in such a crowded box, because either it hits off your own team and you get a chance, or it hits off the other and goes out for a corner.
A whistle to start things and stop things. It'll be a conversation, a yellow card given to a King. He was standing right next to Watson.
One of those silly yellow cards you were talking about?
I think it was contact before the ball had been kicked with Watson.
Caution issued to the 7th 𝘂𝘼𝘼𝙀𝘼.
That's going to be given to 𝘂𝘂𝘼𝘃.
The caution for the Kings.
We'll see if we can figure out what was going on. Far post. Oh, he had a chance at it. Landed on his back. tracking it down and sending it back in. Blackstock to the top of the box. Nodded forward by Davies.
Well done trying to keep this ball alive.
Play on after the handball call. A long pass and well off of his line is knotted out. Boy, 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙃, a sweeper keeper, if you will.
Not something I'm sure I would be comfortable doing, especially if I had a defender who was tracking back on that. But if he can get there on time, might as well.
Ask me if I want to make a 40-yard run.
Do you
No.
want to? Okay.
Ooh, ask me if I want to make a 40-yard run of white duck tacos involved.
Well, I know the answer
Yes.
would be yes.
Asheville narrowing down the last couple of minutes. We are waiting to hear the official word of how much extra time. I think it's up to the official. When we hear the whistle, we'll know what's up. As 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙃 knocks it.
That's a great defensive play right there.
He had to get it just right, didn't he? Or else Watt's in.
Not easy to time those high headers.
Chested
Way to hold
forward.
on to the ball there.
Watt rolls it back along the line. A foot race won by Asheville City. It'll be booted all the way back. Here's Watson. Leaves it for Smith. And that blast of the whistle means it's halftime. We're going to take a timeout. On the other side, we'll have the halftime report. We'll see what our attacking specialist, Alice Walker, thinks about the first half and what she expects to see from the second half. And we're going to get the keys to the second half. All that and more coming up on the halftime report. 1-0 Asheville City Soccer Club over the Kings. We'll see after this short break.
This is my 21st year as the baseball coach. I told the announcer I thought something was wrong. We need to get somebody up here. The Asheville High team trainer, Josh Owen from Mission Sports Medicine, ran up the steps.
Tommy was exhibiting the classic signs and symptoms of a heart attack. We really wanted to make sure that he got care fast.
His role will never be forgotten. I knew he was my new best friend.
Yeah.
I'm Coach Tommy, and thanks to Mission Health, I'm a survivor.
Hey soccer fans, it's time to belong, believe, and be blue. At Ingalls Markets, we are proud to be the official sponsor of your Asheville City Soccer Club. Our men's and women's teams are poised for another great season of exciting action on the pitch. You bring the energy, and we'll bring the food. Go big and go Blues. Ingalls, your official sponsor of Asheville City Soccer Club.
Introducing the new pediatric ER at Mission Hospital. Designed just for kids.
Hey soccer fans, it's time to belong, believe, and be blue. At Ingalls Markets, we are proud to be the official sponsor of your Asheville City Soccer Club. Our men's and women's teams are poised for another great season of exciting action on the pitch. You bring the energy, and we'll bring the food. Go big and go Blues. Ingalls, your official sponsor of Asheville City Soccer Club.
With a graphic, and then Bronwyn will be back in like 3 seconds. Welcome back. It's the halftime report. I'm Matt Stradley here with Bronwyn 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙀. Alice Walker has joined us with some halftime thoughts. Alice, we talked a little bit off the air. I want to hear everything you told me on the air. The first thing you talked about defensively, what have you seen from Asheville City?
Good aerial wins, just strong communication. It's obvious that they've been training together, and that's the chemistry we talked about earlier. It's huge, and it's clear that there's just been such great improvement made there.
And Jamie Smith's efforts at the right center back, you said that he was running the show.
Just key to the back line. Just absolutely going in for strong challenges, no hesitation. He's holding down the back line, absolutely. And he's been also getting up in the air and winning those challenges, preventing those over-the-top balls from getting through, which has been one of the key attacks for the other team, trying to get over the top, and he's not letting it happen.
And every defense needs a workhorse like that who can go after tackles and run after stuff and really put his foot through stuff. But he's also starting attacks and finding those wingers out wide and trying to skip the lines and start attacks early.
So they've been finding the left wing really, really well. There's been a lot of space for the left winger to run, and they're doing a great job of moving the ball until that defense shifts, and that left side is just wide open. They're finding it every time. He's got space to run, and they're making it work.
And Smith is finding that long ball to Watt, and Watt's bringing it down. A 50-yard pass across the field. How difficult is that to bring down? I'm sure you've been asked to do that a couple of times.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially when you're in full stride. It's tough, and they're making it look a lot easier than it is.
And Bronwyn, you're the one who gives those 50-yard passes. So when you see someone bring it down, you're just like, it was worth it.
Exactly.
What have you seen out of the attacking? So if you're Watson and you know Jarrett Payne is out on the red card, so this is your first start of the year, you've got to feel good about the defense, but they've also supplied a goal for you moving forward. What have you two seen out of the attack?
I think we talked earlier about the combination of the speed and that technical ability, and I think we've seen both of that, and I think we've seen exactly how it works and how they work in tandem. We've seen them finding players in space on the left wing and getting runs in behind and running with the ball, and we've seen on the right side little touches, tight technical work to beat players 1v1 and move the ball through the midfield. And I think having the ability to do both of those things in the attack has been critical.
Yes, I mean, we know that the wings are dangerous, and having that combination out there is so important, but they've also been able to use the midfield to connect through it as a pivot point to get from one wing to the other to open up spaces that weren't there before. So the midfield is key.
When they're switching the attack like that, it's just shifting the defense, and I can't stress enough the importance of that. Like you make the defense work, you make them think twice about their positioning. They don't know exactly where to be. They're always looking over their shoulders, wondering who's making those runs in behind.
And that's where that space comes from out wide. It doesn't come from nowhere. It doesn't come from bad marking. It comes from moving players around.
It's the same thing. Again, another thing we talked about earlier, that dynamic movement off the ball. And I think that's another thing that's been really strong this half. And obviously, I mean, getting a goal that early, that's just key. The confidence that comes from that. And I mean, honestly, the environment out here, from sitting in the stands, it's incredible. Sitting there watching the game, it has been phenomenal. The support is there. It's a beautiful night, and it makes such a difference. It really does.
It keeps you awake. It's easy to fall asleep after a first goal. You're up that early. It would be easy to kind of sit back and take a little break, but that crowd is really keeping them alive and keeping them awake and keeping us in those battles in the defensive third, especially.
Yeah. Asheville has not let up. There's no stagnant play there.
For the Kings, it looked like for the first 30 minutes attempting counterattacks to varying degrees of success. They found a foothold about 30 minutes in and began to make some strides in the attacking third. Personally, Langston Blackstock, you and I talked about him. What a combination player he is.
He's big, strong, but God, he's quick on that turn in the box, and that's so dangerous. It's so tough to defend. And when you have a player who's built like that, but is also quick on the ball, God, that's so tough.
And if you're a defender, you can't give him space because he's going to make that move and you're going to be gone. And then all he needs is a yard of space to get a shot off. So you got to play close to him. But when he's that strong and that quick, all of a sudden you're marking air.
And at the same time, he'll hit you if he has to, and he'll hit you hard.
Exactly. It's so easy to overcommit on players like that. If you know that that's the player that you need to mark, it is so easy to mark too tight, to step too early and just get turned.
Claggett moving forward. He got a yellow card for a bit of a kick out. But to me, I think, in my opinion, his ability to move forward, move from out wide into the to the middle of the park. If the Kings are going to get back into this game, it's going to be through Claggett. Am I wrong?
No, and I think that's the transition piece. It's going to be really important for them. Like you said, at the beginning of the game, they were really trying to do everything through counterattacks. They were skipping their midfield. It wasn't really working for them. And when they did find that foothold, it's been because players like him are moving the ball through the midfield and not just trying to go over the top and skip half the team.
Exactly. I mean, he's seeing those runs too because they're there, and it's because he's seeing them. One affects the other, you know. He's saying, hey, I'm trying to look into the midfield, and his midfield is noticing that and making more runs, and we've seen much more penetrating passes into the midfield, and that's going to be where the Kings are the most dangerous if they can connect in the midfield.
Mustafa had stayed back for a majority of the first 30, and he started trying to move forward to supply some passing options in the midfield in the last 15. Because and bless him, he's doing all he can, but if Claggett commits too much to that attack, then that left wing where Watts has been striking all night is going to be left wide open. So if you're the Kings, what's the answer to the puzzle?
That's a tough question. It's communication. It's communicating, and when somebody has to go and get out of position like that in order to be the key part of the attack, and in order to provide those chances and have that vision to make those passes, if that means he needs to be getting up the field and moving that way, there just has to be communication for somebody who's available to drop in and cover that gap. Because if you leave that gap open, Asheville's going to take that all day long. And so it's just shifting, it's moving, it's making sure that there's never a gap too big left uncovered, because you fall asleep there for 1 second, and I think there's another goal in there if they don't manage that.
And you have to take those risks going forward. You can't just sit back and wait for something to happen that's not going to if you don't take a little bit of individuality and creativity going forward. I know you love that. So
under the mask, I could feel you smile.
So making sure that your team knows what you're doing so that people can fill in is really important, because you really do just have to make those moves forward sometimes.
Yeah, you can't play it safe.
Especially
Soccer's not a game where you can play it safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think in the second half I think they're going to come out strong. I think they're going to try and come out fast and make Asheville think twice. And I think it's going to be a really interesting second half.
So what do you think happens in the second half, since you've seen our special guest analyst? Be a future teller. Tell us what's going on, what happens in the second half.
Little biased. I think there's another goal in it for Asheville. I really do. I think when you have somebody, look at that one shot from Joe Lacasto. Mm-hmm. I think there's more in it from him. I think he's going to keep hitting those. And, if that shot is 2 inches lower, it's just upper 90 absolute hammer of a shot.
And if I know Mick, he told them to keep shooting.
Yeah. And they're also, the other thing they're doing that I think is going to keep working for them is they're getting to the end line. And they're getting those cutback crosses off, and they're getting those chances to have even just a one-touch finish. The ball is it's chaos in the box is nobody's dream on the field. Not an attacker, not a defender. Nobody likes chaos in the box, but so many goals come out of that. And Asheville's creating that.
I think you told me that was your nightmare.
Yes, it is exactly that.
It's not fun for me either.
But both goalkeepers have been strong in the air, so both teams are going to find success from the wings if the service is cut back and low and driven, because both teams are making those runs.
And that'll be the key, is finding that, getting your hips around that ball is so hard. But finding that sharply angled ball back to the PK spot, to the top of the box, Asheville will have guys crashing there. They'll have guys running in to hit that shot. And then, you know what? Even if the cross doesn't come off exactly as you hoped, maybe there's a corner kick in it.
I think 𝙂𝘼𝘼𝙃 finds some space. I think he gets a shot off. The question is, does Watson stop it?
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
He's been strong in his build-out and also on that reaction save that we saw from a free kick. So I think Asheville is pretty confident.
Definitely.
Asheville on the ball. The goalkeeper's gone a bit walkabout. It'll be an Asheville throw.
He's just going for a stroll.
Just having a nice night.
We get bored back there sometimes.
Beautiful out. It's a beautiful night for some live soccer.
𝙼𝘼𝘃 popping it up right in front of goal. Too far for the goalkeeper to come. Loose in the box, hammered away.
How's that for chaos in the box?
There's that chaos you were talking about,
There's
Alice.
the chaos.
And looped out. It'll be a Kings free kick. It'll be an Asheville free kick. Alice, we're going to let you get back to your seat. We talked all the way through halftime. we were having too much fun analyzing the game with you.
You know, there's lots to talk about here. I'm excited to watch the rest of the second half.
Well, the seat is always open for you whenever you want it. It was fantastic talking with you, and we appreciate your analysis.
This was great to come out.
All right, we'll get back to the game. Thank again, Alice Walker, I like to call her an attacking genius, just because she plays a style of soccer that I like to watch. When I was watching her sophomore year moving forward, and she did a step over, and her opponent fell, and I thought, oh, that's Tobin Heath. That's who I thought about when she did that step over. So we thank her for being here tonight as we start the second half. Do you see the game leading out the same way Alice did, Bronwyn?
I definitely think Asheville has the potential to score one or two more in this half. I mean, they've had possession, they've had dangerous looks, but I think the Kings are figuring out how to move through the midfield, and if they can capitalize that, it's a game.
Foul spotted on Watt. It was Blackstock knocked down. Free kick for the Kings. 𝙂𝘼𝘃's gotten himself into some very dangerous positions, and I see him getting just that yard of space that he needs to crack a shot. Now, what happens after that, I don't know. Is it Smith sliding in to contest? Is it a Watson stop, or does it bulge in the net? We'll find out in the next 45.
Go ahead and hit the Asheville City Soccer Club is made possible by Reed. Is that cool? Yeah, we'll do it next time it's like knocked out of bounds, okay? Yeah. All right.
Touchdown top of the box, looking for some space. Mustafic drops it back. Rolled in by Bivin. Nifty bit of interplay. Just finding a yard of space. It'll be, looks like a corner for the Kings. Asheville City Soccer Club is made possible by Ingalls Markets. We're with you every step of the way. Mission Health Sports Medicine, proud to support athletes of all ages and skill levels throughout Asheville and the Western North Carolina region. Mosaic Realty, make your next move with Mosaic. Carolina Color Tones, the leader in pre-finished siding, and Old London Road, where we watch. Bending ball, searching for the back post.
The Kings tried a short corner there to get more of an angle to find that back post, and it almost worked for them, but they need that back post runner.
Mustafic over to take a wall of deep blue. 𝙂𝘼𝘃 moving back, shouldered out of trouble. 𝙼𝘼𝘃 tries to tip it back, and that'll be out for another Kings corner. Like Alice said, the pressure really on right at the start of the half.
And Asheville's definitely feeling it, and I think they're going to build the intensity here and figure out that they need to get out of the box and press up to deny those balls staying live after corner kicks like this.
Chapelier back for the corner. Low, near post. Diving header by Smith. It'll be out for a King's throw. Boy, when kicking it just won't do, right?
We love to see some acrobatic defending.
As Bivens saying he was held, but the foul going Asheville City's way. 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙔 also on a yellow. Nodded forward. A lot of yellow jerseys. That'll be out for an Asheville throw. That was a nifty little play by LaCosto. Or excuse me, yeah, it was Joe LaCosto.
It always is.
It usually is, isn't it?
You have the engagement picture?
A conversation from the official is completed. Probably along the lines of, hey, knock it off. A handball spotted. It'll be an Asheville free kick. Asheville City Soccer Club, since their inception, the motto, belong, believe, be blue.
I think that motto translates onto the field and onto the sidelines as well. I mean, you can see the subs standing up and cheering for their teams. You've got the entire town of Asheville cheering.
It does feel like it, doesn't it? Cross into the box, flicked on. Smith muscled down. It'll be hammered forward. I like that physical play. I didn't see a foul.
No, and it's not a bad idea from Smith to try and go down and see what happens, but it was a clean defensive effort.
Dropped off, now moving forward out wide. 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙀 back into the middle. Blackstock
Some
has
good
that
combination
space,
play up
the
top.
shot, and there's Jamie
Great
Smith
step.
sliding in. Just at the vital moment.
That's the combination in the midfield that the Kings need at the top of the box, and Asheville got to step in right at the crucial moment.
Ball rolled out top. Ramon Munoz tracks it down. Rolled back across the middle of the field for Jackson. Jackson. Claggett, nifty move. Bit of a heavy touch. Will be wedged out for a King's throw.
Let's wait till they get out deep in the territory and we'll do it.
Here's Claggett. Dropping it off. Callum Watson. Watson testing the bounds of the rope. Nodded to the top of the box.
It's one of those aerial wins Alice was talking about was so important for this Asheville defense, and it really is.
Soccer Academy Kings coach wanting a foul, but it'll be an Asheville throw. LaCosto nods it down, pushed forward. Nifty bit of little interplay.
That is some really excellent individual technicality to start this attack.
The cross just missing far post. That was a combination shot cross. Anyone could have gotten on the back post of that. And it was a narrow miss from Fitzpatrick, who put it into a great place. And it was by fractions.
If that was a shot, great shot. But you can see the Asheville team was all lined up at the PK spot, so maybe that's where you look up and drag it back.
Touched down, moving forward. Chapelier continuing his run. The Kings trying the right side of the field for Claggett. Claggett gets away. and plays it out for a corner.
It's not easy to dodge a slide tackle like that.
As Claggett goes back to his defensive duties now that he's won the corner. It's a bit ruthless. I've won this corner. Now I got to go back and watch from the midfield line.
You wonder if they might benefit from having him on the back post on those.
𝙂𝘼𝘼𝙈 with the corner. Low corner searching in, and fantastic job coming out by Watson.
That is such a difficult ball to hold on to when you're under that much pressure and there's that much traffic in the box.
It was a similar ball to the near post, though, that got the Kings their first goal against the Eagles in their last matchup. We've said Joe Lacosto's name a lot tonight. And he's also recently engaged. The former UNC Asheville Bulldog marrying
Another former
UNC Asheville Bulldog. Bella Iorio, congratulations to that couple. Just the heart of soccer in and around Asheville, those two. And Joe joining the staff of Mathis Mennel up at Mars Hill. Ball wedged away. Boy, that was one where 3 tackles finally won it for Watt.
Third time's the charm?
Absolutely. This time for sure. So Davies plays it back. Touched through. It's going to be a risky ball. Off the line, played well by 𝙂𝘼𝘼𝙃. Arocha supplying pressure to Mustafa. Watson, top of the box, continuing with the run. Hammered.
That's what I want a clearance to look like.
Enough time to reorganize. Ramon Munoz tracks it down. Back to Munoz. Mustafic loses it out, but it'll be a King's throw. Arocha's tucked in more than I thought he would. He's coming back to kind of link up with the midfield.
Now we've seen that Asheville finds success by linking through the midfield, but if they can add such a technical personality in there as well, then it really gives them some more dynamic movement in the middle of the park so that their attacking threat doesn't just come from the wings, and it kind of keeps the Kings guessing a little bit.
Searching ball over the top. As Watt just able to keep it in. That's a tough bit of skill. Claggett defending him, hammered out of trouble around the 6. It'll be an Asheville throw. As Arocha loses it out. Moving forward, Watson slid out, and 𝙂𝘼𝘼𝘃 running forward.
That was a well-timed tackle there.
If 𝙂𝘼𝘃 can find a way by, that's all kinds of trouble.
Exactly. If you time that wrong, then you're toast.
Slid in. Oh, nifty play by I believe that was Stainrod, our goal scorer for the afternoon. Step over, picked up by Watt. Watt loses it out of bounds. It'll be Blackstock for the throw. Miscommunication. It'll be an Asheville throw.
And that final pass is what the Kings are missing here. And if they can connect on that and get some more movement going forward and really find those combination plays on the wings too, they're gonna be dangerous on this Asheville team who seems to have dropped off a little bit.
Asheville injecting some creativity. Watt down the left side, giving way for 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙃. Watt has, in his 60 minutes, probably run at least 10 kilometers. That might be a little exaggerative, but not a lot.
Well, either way, it's more than I run in probably 3 seasons combined.
We talked about Isaiah 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀 pre-game just for his creativity on the ball.
Yes, Isaiah started his collegiate career here at UNCA and then transferred to UNC Greensboro, I believe, where he just won a conference title. And so his creativity and experience on dynamic teams really helps this Asheville side on the wings and finding dynamic services as well. His service ability to get the ball behind the back line is really spectacular.
He is also an HFC product, a homegrown local player, spending 2 years at Asheville. It's not like he just went down to UNCG and played a couple of minutes and said, oh, I want to. He had 13, 14 starts for them. And in this year, that's pretty much all there is. Looking out wide. Options through the middle. 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙃 out wide to the left. They'll bring 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀 into it. Claggett's first look at 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝙀. And Claggett wins the first battle. 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝙀 showing just a bit too much of the ball to Claggett. Lacosto able to maintain possession. And 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝙀 again losing the ball. And a pullback spotted. It'll be a free kick for the Kings.
I would have called it a tactical foul if it were maybe 30 yards before, but when you've got numbers up in the box there, it's not necessarily imperative that you take someone down there, and you can really just stall.
A yellow card granted for the offense. One that you thought was a bit too late to be useful. This is not the world's best place to give up a free kick.
No, it's one you typically try to avoid. I'd be curious to see if they go for a shot or a service on this one, given Watson's height and previous save on a free kick. And there's a service.
Leaves it out. Headed for it. It'll be just wide.
It's a difficult angle to pull off on a header.
And 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝘀 had a free header. It was at the back post, and he would have had to crane his neck in as Mustafic drops it down. But look, he's got to drop his head and then flick it sort of goalwards, and that's just a bit too much. As brilliantly played forward, Fitzpatrick only just getting on the end of it. Munoz did what he needed to do. And we have another substitution in the 63rd minute. It'll be an Asheville throw. 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝘀 waiting to take it.
In the 64th minute,
Looks like 𝙂𝘼𝘀
Miguel Ramirez, number 14. Ramirez, 14, replaces
coming off, and it'll be Miguel Ramirez, number 14. So for Asheville, we had a 14 come off and a 7 come on, and the exact opposite for the Kings.
When you have subs come on at this stage in the game, it's usually something we call a super sub, an energizer bunny kind of situation where you need someone with fresh legs, with creativity, and with penetrative movement to get the ball rolling, so to speak, and really add some creativity and individuality and speed to a game that might be slowing down as legs get tired.
It'll be Lacosto giving way for Kyle McCurley, the Wisconsin player. Asheville has made two of their substitutions. So with Watt and Lacosto coming off, two of the players who do a good job of on-field coaching coming off. Favoring some youth in 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼 and 𝘼𝑎𝑙𝑒𝑖. 𝘼𝑎𝑙𝑒𝑖 number 13.
Those are exciting players to watch, but you worry about keeping the organization and the communication on point.
Asheville almost able to get on the ball. Stolen back by the Kings. Kings looking for room down the left side. Asheville well organized defensively. Kings back through the top and Jackson. Jackson trying to find the run of Bivin, just a bit too far.
The Kings so far have favored going back and starting over with the back line when there's no clear option going forward. But I really think if they took a turn inside towards the middle, attacking runs, and disorganized and disoriented this Asheville defense, they might have more success moving forward.
Hammered out of play. It'll be a Kings throw. It does feel like the Kings have come out and taken a bit of the aggression in the second half. They've taken the ownership of possession, but as Claggett cutting inside, this is what we said he'd need to do. And now Asheville looking on the counter. 𝘼𝘼𝘃.
I think that's a good idea to keep that ball there instead of going for that obvious boot up the field.
Run in and tackled. I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see a yellow card about 3 steps outside of the area. And
again, a foul there, just, it's not super necessary.
It looked like they were bracketed with a center back available behind.
Yeah, he really had no help going forward there, so it wasn't as threatening as it might have seemed. But it's a threat now.
It certainly is. 2 goal scorers standing over, 𝘼𝘼𝘼𝘃 and 𝘼𝘼𝘃.
However this turns out, Asheville's going to need to bring some more energy moving forward, some more urgency.
A 3-man wall set up. Now late to the picture, Watson coming in. Tried to just sneak it past the left side of the wall. The wall adventurous. Played out, it'll be a Kings throw, allowing Asheville to reorganize. Kings feel like they're starting to push towards something significant.
Now that's the turn inside that is really going to help the Kings.
𝘂𝘼𝘼𝑒 playing forward, 𝘼𝘼𝑎𝑃 holding possession now for 𝘂𝘼𝘼𝑒. 𝘂𝘼𝘼𝑒 has some space in front.
Holding the ball and letting 𝘂𝘼𝘼𝑒 get up the field is crucial to this team's movement forward.
As Claggett blocks the cross, only 1 player forward. It was Stainrod trying to give 𝘂𝘼𝘼𝑒 a target, and it's played out for a corner.
If you don't have much help down there, might as well try and kick it off someone and earn a corner.
Claggett's more than willing to make sure you don't get that cross in. Trotting over to take the corner, Jake Jensen. It's just great to have fans at soccer again, isn't it?
We certainly missed them during the college season.
Cross coming in, immediate whistle blares as the ball finds the back of the net. A foul spotted nearly instantaneously. And Kings playing out of the back.
These fouls have caused a lot of problems for Asheville. It's given the Kings really dangerous opportunities in their attacking third, but it's also denied opportunities in Asheville's attacking third.
Stainrod applying some pressure to Munoz. Played out wide. Now looking for some space in the middle. Tipped away by 𝘼𝘼𝘼𝑒. Kings maintaining possession. Smith fouled, and it'll be an Asheville free kick. And Smith, with his wisdom, lured 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙀 into the contact.
Exactly. He knew what was going to happen with that double team, with the Kings desperate for a goal this late in the game. So he, like you said, lured them into contact and gave Asheville time to reset.
Through the first 70 minutes, grade Will Watson in his first performance for Asheville City Soccer Club. Tough.
Well, he's done well to stay involved even when he's not facing shots. We've seen him check off to receive balls and help this team play out of the back, which is not exciting, and it's not what people show up to soccer to watch, but it is what you need from your back line. You need confidence, you need footwork ability, you need a goalkeeper who is engaged in the defense, climbing up the field, closing the gap between the goalkeeper and the back line so that none of these cheap balls trying to chip over the back line find any daylight.
Tackled out as 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼 facing a cramp. I can tell by the toe pull. That's a dead giveaway every time. As Asheville City saying it was off 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼, and I think clearly it is. Certainly not given. As a certainly humid Asheville environment is claiming yet another significant cramp.
Stay hydrated, folks.
The thing about, you think about the mountains, you think, oh, it's cooler. Asheville's humidity is brutal. 90 feels like, and this is a scientific term I'm about to use, 11 billion.
Ah, yes. It's humid, but it's no Rome, Georgia.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Mustafic is motioning that 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝘼 needs to come off given the severity of the cramp. As the clock continues to tick. Did he just nutmeg the official?
Why not?
1000% he did.
Take your wins where you can get them, you know?
I'm going to need to see a replay of that. I'm going to need to see a replay of that probably 3 or 4 more times as the official trainer coming back out to check on 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝘼. And we'll see this naughty bit of soccer right there.
And the determination to really poke that through after it wasn't going to go through all the way in the first place. You know, that you really just got to keep after those opportunities.
I appreciate the fact that he's like, I think I know something funny. Oh, I'm still going to do it. Fantastic.
Really great bit of technical work.
𝙃𝘼𝘼𝙃 coming on, the right wing back out of Bright House, England, taking the place of 𝘼𝘼𝙃𝘼𝙃. A foul was given on the tackle against 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝘼. It'll be a free kick from the spot. Mustafic crossing it in, knotted out of trouble, or only just. Asheville trying to find any port, really, and it'll be out for a King's throw.
You wonder how many more fouls in this attacking third around this 18 Asheville can withstand.
They are inviting an amount of pressure on themselves. Long throw taken. Knotted back post. Handled by Watson. Taking the sting out of the ball. That's exactly what you want from your defense as Smith moves forward. Oh, finding 𝙃𝘼𝘼𝙃. 𝙃𝘼𝘼 moving forward. 𝙃𝘼𝘼 has some space. 𝙃𝘼𝘼, step over the shot. Blocked. Follow-up wedged out. It'll be an Asheville throw, but a prime chance for 𝙃𝘼𝘼𝑼.
Those are great recovery runs from the Kings defense because 𝙃𝘼𝘼 had several chances right there.
We'll take a look, and it's 𝙃𝘼𝘼𝑉𝐼𝑠HAWN coming up big on the first. And then look at this switchblade kick from the ground. Munoz had to get it right, and he did. And now
It's not an easy save to pull off. It's mostly reaction, but getting that timing right and coming up and stepping out and making yourself big, making the goal small, is what those kind of 1v1 breakaway situations are all about in goalkeeping.
𝙂𝘼𝙈 fouling the man we were just talking about, Ramon Munoz, and it'll be a Kings free kick approaching 15 minutes in regulation. Nodded forward by Asheville. Smith lets it cruise in. No hurry from Watson. Watson will pick it up.
It's one of my favorite things to do. It makes the other team so mad.
As Watson distributing wide. Touched forward. Freshly into the game, Jake Kelly showing his touch. Oh, nifty turn. Asheville City now moving forward. 𝙂𝘼𝙈. Rolling for Fitzpatrick. Davies plays it all the way back for Watson. Touched forward. It'll only go as far as Smith. Smith touching it forward. Looking to find the run of Kelly. Kelly nods it forward.
Big forward touch from a center back is really important to starting the attack, because it is a cue for the rest of the team when you see your center back take a huge touch.
𝙑𝘼𝙈 now moving forward. 𝙑𝘼𝙈 has some space, crossing back post.
He made sure to curl that away from Watson there.
And I think being aware of Watson, pulled that ball away from his runners.
And that's where the runners have to cue in to the winger's service and communicate a little bit about that.
And that'll be it for Callum Watson into the game. Number 4, Joshua Francombe. Here's Claggett. Oh, nifty little no look. A little exaggerated, but I'll allow it. Mustafic. The cross from distance. Look, asking for a back post run that never arrived. 2 runners towards the near post. And why would you sprint over? You're up 1-0. Josh Davies taking his time.
It's called game management.
The flick forward. Nodded. In play. Only momentarily. It'll be an Asheville throw. About 15 yards further up.
The Kings are able to get those crosses deep across the box because Asheville's back line is dropping back much more than they had in the first half, and they're allowing that cross to come in knowing that they have numbers up in the box and knowing that they have a back post runner covered if there is one.
Claggett with the throw, about 10 yards advanced from when it went out, but the referee will allow it, so will I. You know one thing that we haven't seen once in this game?
What's that?
An attacker in an offside position.
You know, that's interesting. I can't remember the last time I've
never
a game
seen a match
where there's been no offside.
0 attackers in an offside position. I've never seen a match.
I bet it's going to happen in the next 5 minutes now.
Oh, it's going to have to. Claggett for Mustafic. Mustafic with his back turned. Claggett touching down. Into space. Forward, Francombe. Francombe on the ball, continuing his run. Mustafic has some space. Low shot. Easily wide. Looked like Watson had it covered.
You know, you never want to guess on those, though.
Was deflected wide, quickly over to take the corner. Carlson will play it short. Cross coming in. Tipped out. Aerial from Blackstock wasn't successful, but able to maintain possession. The cross, searching back post. Asheville will usher it out for a goal kick.
dangerous for Watson to come out on that one. You can see he missed from a deflection on his own team. It is not easy to come out for those on that steep of an angle from a short corner.
Is that one of the worst feelings, is when you know you're exposed?
It's not fun, especially if you go out thinking that you're gonna get it and make the save and be a hero.
Is it down to communication? Did he need to tell his defenders it's mine, mine?
No, I'm sure he was yelling at them. Sometimes in the heat of those things when it's crowded, if you're a defender, you just want to put your head through it. You don't know what's gonna happen, so in a crowded space like that, from that steep of an angle, it might have been one where he just stays put.
Out on the far side, it's an Asheville throw. Long far forward. Asheville settling it, rolling it into the middle, where only yellow jerseys appear. Mustafic attacking forward, sliding in behind. And a good thought as Claggett had started his run, but a bit too ambitious with the pass.
I think that goes back to your point about offside, actually. It tells you how these teams are playing. Asheville is trying to build up out from the back, and the Kings are trying to build around and trying to find the wingers and then cut in. There's not a lot of big balls over the top, not a lot of, short passes in the midfield to try and find a runner slotted through the middle. Both of these teams are playing very tactically, very possession-based, very build-based.
And that's one of those that 𝙂𝘼𝙈 loses off of his boot. A bad touch after a 40-yard run in the 81st minute. I think we can be a bit forgiving of that. After a 40-yard sprint, after 81 minutes of running constantly, a bad touch.
It's forgivable.
It's allowable. It's almost expected. It'll be.
If it was a good touch, we would have been surprised.
We would have blown the trumpets for him. Although I think Claggett's still the key to this game for the Kings. I say that because he has shown no signs of it being the 81st minute. Touched inside, handled well by Asheville, pushed from behind, play on.
You're right about Claggett, and it just goes to show his passion for this game. If you're down a goal and it's this late in the game, it's easy to give up or let things lie, but he's really been all over the field. I mean, you've seen him in every third and every half space you've seen him, and he is fighting for every ball.
𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙔 started out as a left wing back, has moved more centrally. Searching ball through, it'll be ushered out as McCready sees it over the end line.
You wonder if Asheville is going to sit back and try and hold this lead for the last few minutes, or if they're going to press and try to find 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼 on a long ball, maybe a hopeful, wishful ball, try and secure their lead.
Does seem like 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼, I say that, and now here comes the pressure as 𝙂𝘼𝙀𝘼 coming back forward. Ooh, nifty turn into the center, just a bit high.
And maybe that's where the Kings need a diagonal run from a winger. Claggett can find those spaces in the midfield if he runs into them.
It'll be Claggett on the ball. Closed down, tackled away, gets it back.
It's a good first step, but you can tell Asheville's tired on this recovery. They're really going to need to rely on each other, and it looks like they're doing a good job of it.
A foul spotted. McCready up. He's all right. Took the brunt of the tackle. It was a good bit of follow through. And I think that's what was called. Duncan McGuire on, Langston Blackstock off. It was a pleasure to watch him play. What a dynamic player he is.
And that's what this league and these games are all about, is bringing soccer to these towns and bringing it to the youth especially, and just showing people how exciting soccer can be and how amazing it is to be an athlete on this stage.
Asheville City substitutions. Also in the 85th minute.
Fitzpatrick is off along with 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘿𝘼𝙔.
Entering match number 12. Michael
And that'll be Michael Wilkerson. He played with Atlanta United U19s. An Asheville High School student, had 1 goal as a freshman at Gonzaga, is where he currently resides.
Aversano for Fitzpatrick. Wilkerson for 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼 in the 85th minute.
Zach Aversado leads McRae's own, 2 assists in 8 games. He's a Wofford transfer, on for the Asheville City Soccer Club as well.
That was well shielded out because that ball really didn't have any help. It was wishful. There were only 2 King players up top with 3, 4, 5 Asheville players behind it.
Nodded forward, dropped off. Asheville still has eyes for the attack. Inviting Claggett. That was a lot to ask for him. Really was.
Well, it came from the pressure in behind, that top-down pressure on those balls. You're not going to win it, but if you can put enough pressure on that ball, then you're going to mess up the pass.
It'll be another Asheville City throw, leading in the 86th minute. Touched forward, knocked away, and a fantastic spin moving forward. Chapelier through the middle.
It's a great turn and a great ball.
And Watson up to the task, despite the thundering approach.
Smart to try and find that ball on the ground to a player running forward rather than loft it over to the other winger.
Duncan McGuire had eyes for that ball, flipped forward, continuing. It'll be out for an Asheville corner, and I think 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀 had played himself into a bit of trouble. I don't think he thought that the flick from Wilkerson was going to be good.
I don't think so either, and it's difficult when you get yourself caught in between those spaces. You really just have to sell out for whatever you chose to do in the first place. When you make a decision, you got to go
retreat or go forward.
Exactly.
You got to do one or the other, and you got to do it like you know it's the right choice.
Exactly, and that's what he did, and he got a hand on it, and he made the save. Otherwise, that might have been a Nashville goal.
Now, 87th minute corner for Asheville City Soccer Club. High arcing. Looking near post.
Dangerous ball.
Come searching. 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼 touching it back near post. Oh, and it finds the net! 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼 chipping it in!
That left-footed curled ball with a little bit of loft. It is so difficult to read as a goalkeeper, and he knows that, and that's why he took a chance on that left-footed curling ball rather than trying to find someone else in the box.
The sheer audacity. 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼 looks up, checks it, chips it. Oh, it looked like it was a cross to the near post and just floated.
Seeing the goalkeeper stepping out a little bit, because as a goalkeeper, you really don't expect that shot, and if you do, you don't expect it to curve that much. So seeing the goalkeeper reading that cue and then deciding to put so much curve on it, that won him that shot.
First of all, how dare you? Who has the audacity to try to pull that off? Isaiah 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀 does, but I'm saying just the mentality to pull that off, the creativity to pull that off. Borderline crime. 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀 had been living a bit dangerously. That time, I feel like the near post run really drew him in, and after that, there was nothing he could do.
Exactly. As soon as he committed to the near post, I mean, with a ball that lofted and again that curled, you have to have some amazing footwork to be able to turn on your heels and get back and get a hand there. That's enough. And it's just so difficult to do once you've already committed.
And it turns out our guest analyst, Alice Walker, was right. There is another goal in it for Asheville City Soccer Club, and she brought up 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀 pregame and his creativity, so we might have to invite her back. Tackled away. Asheville looking for a third. The goals now coming in bunches. The run forward The battle on, the shot, near post. Oh, what a save.
That's a great save. You can see the energy is back for Asheville. That might not have been a run or a ball that was chased after 10 minutes ago.
𝙂𝘼𝙈 thundering forward, beating out Claggett. The near post shot. 𝘼𝙈 up to the task.
What a great reaction save.
In the 89th minute. Asheville over for the corner kick. 𝙂𝘼𝙈 the short option. Jake Jensen. Will play it deep. It'll be 4 minutes of added time. A foul spotted on the corner. That'll be the second foul spotted on a corner before the ball was actually contacted. Maybe a point of emphasis in practice.
Seen 2 of those and 0 offside.
What a weird game. Enthralling game, but a weird game.
Asheville's number 25, Jamie Smith.
A foul for a push in the back on a aerial battle. It'll be a fairly dangerous spot for the Kings.
With Asheville's aerial ability, I think they're probably confident on this one, but definitely wary.
Two 2-0 Asheville City Soccer Club over the Southern Soccer Academy Kings curling ball, and up to the task. Watson punching it out. The shot from distance as Claggett bought a ticket. Yeah, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. And Claggett just got his posture wrong a little bit under it, and as you see the contact, you see Claggett just leaning back a touch.
I mean, that was really just a great read from Watson. He knew that Claggett was running onto that, and so stepping out in front, throwing his body out there, it's hard to do a flying punch, and to get that much power on it, to get it out of the 18 and get up so fast, that's really difficult to do.
Into the 93rd minute of extra time, Asheville with the 2-0 lead over the Kings. Knotted down, just kept in play. As Asheville tries to see, at this point, it's a point of pride to get the clean sheet.
Exactly. I mean, if you can keep a team like this that's been threatening you on the wings, and there's been so many set pieces, if you can keep them to 0 goals for this whole game, you want to keep it that way.
Able to find 1 against Tormenta, 2 against the Eagles. This is a team that does know how to score, as Smith ushers it over the end line. Entering the final minute, it'll be up to the official.
And you can hear the Blues on the sideline.
The South Slope Blues, every bit as passionate as advertised. My first experience with Asheville City Soccer Club, my daughter Amelia bought me a ticket to the first season of the women's team as a Father's Day present. So my first experience with Asheville City Soccer Club was the fantastic food offerings they had at Memorial on game day. And my daughter and I just absolutely having a blast watching the women's team. Molly Dwyer running it roughshod through the midfield.
It's such an experience for Asheville as a town.
A cross knocked down, headed by Smith. A nifty little bicycle kick, out of trouble. Referee glancing at his watch. Another check of the watch as Mustafic Here's Claggett, hammered away, and that'll do it. A final score, Asheville City Soccer Club earns the clean sheet over the Southern Soccer Academy Kings. Final score of 2-0. Bronwyn, initial thoughts?
I mean, what a game. That's the perfect result for this Asheville side. And for this new team coming together, they all have different coaches, they all have different teams coming together, and after 2 games, putting a result on the score sheet, it's so important for them moving forward, and I think this has given them a lot of confidence and build a lot of chemistry. I mean, when you succeed together, you want to keep succeeding together. And so this is just such a great building block for their season.
Jack Stainrod with the opening goal after just 7 minutes. 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙀 capping it off with the insurance goal in the closing 10 minutes with a goal that is illegal in 32 of the 50 states. Walk me through that goal one more time by 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙀.
Isaiah got some space up at the top of the 18, and no one thought he was going to take the shot. It's such a difficult angle, especially on your left foot. And the goalkeeper committed to the near post there, thinking if anything it would be a pass, but just putting enough curl and enough loft on that ball with his left foot just got it over the goalkeeper. I mean, just so difficult to stop. World-class cheeky goal.
And there is who, in my opinion, one of the candidates for player of the game, Jamie Smith, marshaling the back line to the first clean sheet in the first 3 games for Asheville City Soccer Club.
I mean, Asheville loves Jamie Smith. They love to have him on that field. They've had him since day one. And you can tell that he's confident and collected back there, and he is holding down that back line and getting into the attack, communicating with the entire team.
Will Watson looking great in his first performance.
He stayed active the entire game, was checking off and remaining available for his team in the attack. And in the defense, so confident coming out on crosses. It is so difficult to read those and to decide when to come out and how to come out. Do I catch it? Do I punch it? And he was very confident and looked very solid doing that, especially for a first performance.
Mick Giordano organizing his group over to give thanks to the South Slope Blues, who have made a ton of racket tonight. For Giordano, what does the forthcoming schedule look like? Well, it doesn't get any easier. It'll be at East Atlanta. The next home game on June 1st, it'll be versus Independent Citro. Asheville City will then take on Peachtree MOBA just 4 days later here at Greenwood Field. A third Dalton Red Wolves home game in a row before traveling down to Charlotte to take on the Eagles. That'll get us through the midway point of June. Less than a couple of weeks away from the opening match for the Asheville City Women's Soccer Club and their NWSL run.
Yeah, this women's team is going to be excited to kind of rally on the back of this men's team success. It's nice to get the Asheville town excited and ready to go and kind of piggyback on that success and really be dynamic going forward.
Asheville City Soccer Club keeping Greenwood a pristine place to play, 1-0 all time at Greenwood Field. Their next home game coming up very shortly, and then 3 home. How important is it just to maintain that shield over home field advantage?
I mean, this town is so passionate about this team, and the team is so passionate about the town that both of them are just so excited to be back on this field. The team wants to be back here, and they want to put on a show for the fans, and the fans want to be there for them through thick and thin too. So no matter the result on this field, there's such a loyalty in the Asheville Blues.
After 687 days, Asheville City Soccer Club welcomes back to the community with a win. We do want to thank Gabriel Glenn Hebron, Zach White, Roman 𝙂𝘼𝙈𝙀𝘼𝙀, who've done a fantastic job. Our cameraman, our graphics guru in Roman. Brian Yohe, our producer, and Bronwyn, you've done a fantastic job for Bronwyn Lutweiler. I'm Matt Stradley saying so long from Greenwood Field. Let's do it again soon.